So I got to the airport a little bit early and I took a seat in Terminal D and I signed in. And then I realized that I had the most flight time on the 777 on anyone on my crew, even more than the captain. Hi, my name is Darren. I'm a dad. I'm an airline pilot. I'm a husband of a scientist. This is a relief pilot vlog of a trip to London. This was a short call reserve assignment. I report at 4 p.m., depart at 5 p.m. We arrive in London at 8:05 in the morning, depart the next day at noon, 19 and a half hours of reserve credit. And on this trip, I'll be flying both a 777-200 and a 300. So, the plane I kind of like and the plane I really like. They're both really good, but the 300 has a better crew rest area. All the bags at the back of the airplane. Let's head to the airport in my Chevrolet Equinox EV. I do leave early. I like to be relaxed and have time and not be stressed. Some days you just have to go to work. Hi, my name is Darren. I'm a dad. I'm an airline pilot. I'm a husband of a scientist. It is 2:51 on a Saturday, beautiful day in North Texas, 80 degrees, clear skies, and I'm headed to the airport to fly to London. It is what it is. I am on reserve today. I went on reserve this morning at 11 a.m. and I am short call reserve. And many people are under the misconceptions of what it means to be a short call reserve pilot. I do not have to be at home sitting by my phone waiting for the phone to ring or staring at my schedule. That is not what short call reserve is, at least at my airline. Short call reserve is just for assignments with less than 12 hours notice. That's it. And in all honesty, I knew about this trip well more than that. Yesterday, I was trying to pick up an overtime trip, couldn't get one. And this trip was put onto my schedule yesterday at 10, no, I think 11 in the morning, 11 a.m. Leaving, again, 11 a.m. Friday, all the way up until 11 a.m. Saturday mornings I went on reserve. They put it on my schedule because they had no one else to do it. Again, I'm short call reserve. They ran out of long call pilots, and how our reserve system is designed, I was the next up to bat. Um, it is what it is. It was assigned to a long call pilot initially, and I'm guessing they either called in sick or they had something going on, because I can see it was assigned to one guy, it was a guy, and then assigned to me. Again, it is what it is. Now, do I want to go to London? Not really. I'd rather go anywhere else, right? I did proffer bid for a Dublin trip initially. It went senior to me for today. So all that was left was London. It's an easy trip. It really is. And again, for short call reserve today, I had breakfast with my family this morning. We watched my cousin Benny did stuff around the house. Went to Spirit, bought my oldest daughter a Halloween costume, had lunch together, and now they went out for ice cream while I'm going to the airport to fly to London. Now, this trip has a crazy drivers in North Texas, has a 4 p.m. report time, 5 p.m. departure, headed to London. This is a longer overnight than what I had last month, where I had 19-hour overnights. This is a 26-hour overnight. So plenty of time to, get in with London, take a nap, relax, explore a bit, a lot if I want to, come back, rest. Then I'll wake up Monday morning, and we have a mid-afternoon departure. So I can wake up on my own, no alarm clock needed, and I get back Monday afternoon about 4:30 in the afternoon. Not bad overall. Um, this will be a lot of flying for me this month, though. It's getting to the point where last time I looked, so I have a 100-hour limit I can fly every 100-hour limit I can fly every rolling 30-day period. And after this trip, I'll have just 19 hours left. Now I'll have to look back and see when the older flight will fall off, but I've had a lot of flying this month. I've not flying at all and very little in September. I'm flying a lot this month. This is my third reserve trip, my fourth trip overall. Again, I've had 2 trips to London and 1 trip to Rome so far. One of the London trips was a overtime trip. So, yeah. As far as flying trips, though, including this trip, there's 4 trips this month. Only one has been a flying trip. And right now, my landings expire November 24th. So if I don't have any flying trips before November 24th, I head back to the sim to do landings. I really don't want to do that. I hope I do get some flying trips. And people are going to ask, well, at my airline, can't they force you to fly? Not really. I can request to fly. I might try that because I don't want to do landing sims. But uh, going back to this trip I'm on right now, the first officer on this trip is junior to me. I think it's only the second time I've ever had someone junior to me on a 777. Um, Now, if I could play things back and see how everything played out, I would have bid to be FO and not relief pilot, just so I can get a landing in. And no, we can't swap positions. It is what it is. That's fine. But these were all open yesterday, and he was assigned it initially because I was able to pass it. And then when the long call pilot called in sick or whatever, it came back around to me, and I was the next up to go. If I had known that, I would have happily bid the FO trip versus the FB trip. But yeah, I'm gonna try to narrate stuff differently than this trip because again, I've done enough London videos that no one needs to see another Darren Goes to London video. So I'm gonna try to pick out something else to talk about, maybe navigation or something, versus just hey, I went to London and ate some. I'm planning on eating some udon noodles again. I had it last time; it was really good. I'm gonna keep it a habit. Okay, let's go to the airport. Remember, and again, this video shows how close I live to the airport. I'm already halfway to the airport. I could keep talking all the way to the airport, and it'd be like a 11-minute video. I'm very close to the airport, but all right, I'll stop though because I can talk forever.
So I'll get to the airport and now I'll get on the most dangerous part of my gig, in my opinion, is the employee buses. Again, they don't care about customer service at all for the most part. Some do, but most don't. Uh, Details: three pilot crew there, 777-200, 9 hours and 5 minutes of flight time, gate to gate. You can see the times there. Those were made months ago when the flight was scheduled. Well, on this actual day, we're gonna be 1 minute over in the air due to routing. Because again, every day the routing changes due to weather and how they plan the tracks over the ocean. I'll get into that in a second. What's my role? Well, I'm a relief pilot, right? So I sit in the captain and first officer seat. I'm pilot flying, pilot monitoring. I pre-fly the inside and outside. I make the bunks, and I am the third set of eyes. I'm in the middle of the flight deck, and I can see the big picture. I can see everything kind of zoomed out, which they're kind of zoomed in. This is a 777-200. The biggest differences are shorter wingspan. This one has different engines. The clock on the outboard of the LCDs. On the 300, they don't have those. They're integrated into the LCD. And that's about it, really. They do fly differently, but they're very similar to fly. Anyways, you can see our routing over there. We are using a NAT track. Every day they plan these highways in the sky between over the Atlantic Ocean. We're on NAT track east, the Romeo track. It goes very high north. You can see other tracks that are below there. We do a lot of pre-flight discussion. This is the flight path guidance on my weather app showing the turbulence along our route. Again, most of it is south of the route. Good, but there is turbulence getting into London, right? And you see all the color there. Again, it's just moderate turbulence. It's totally safe, but it is related to some weather in the area. So I put on the clouds, and you can see the clouds there. Radar returns. We're gonna have a few bumps. We do the best we can to avoid it. But again, turbulence is more annoying that it is unsafe. And my turbulence app says it'll be a calm flight, and it was a calm flight. Until we got into the London area, the good news was we didn't have to hold. We went right over the Bovingdon VOR, and we got vectors straight into runway 27 left. The first officer, he was junior to me, and me and him both haven't flown a bunch. He hasn't flown since August as a first officer. He did a spectacular job handling the wind. We had like 45 knots of crosswind on short final. During the actual over the runway, maybe about 10 to 15 knots of crosswind, greased it on. The flight attendants all said, wow, we thought we were going to really jam it in. And he just, perfect. But we got to the gate on time, cleared customs, and headed to the hotel. Again, if you're a crew member, always wear your seatbelt. So many of us do not wear our seatbelts. You don't know these drivers. It's an easy thing to do. If there's an accident, you want to have your seatbelt on. We tell people to do it on board. You should do it too. Okay, and now for the post-flight debrief. Okay, back in London again. This is a much later post-flight debrief. It's already 5:15 in the evening. Yeah. So yesterday, since I was FB, I decided not to take a nap in the middle of the day. I knew this trip was coming to me because I got the trip assigned on my schedule the day before. So I'm like, you know what? As FB relief pilot, I'm like, I want to show up tired, not like full of energy. So I didn't take a nap in the middle of the day. Got to the airplane early, did the pre-flight stuff, and I was done with all the pre-flight and then inside and outside before the captain arrived first, and I was done before he even arrived. Started making the beds. The FO arrived. Because it's funny that I mentioned this, that I was the most experienced pilot on the crew. As far as the 777 goes, of course, the captain has 8 type ratings, been here for 30 plus years, so he's way more experienced than I am. But I had the most hours on the 777 by a few. I mean, and I'm not gloating by it by any means. We're all very new. Uh, FO flew here, pushing back from the gate. The FO hadn't flown in a while, so he was, not rusty, but He hadn't been an FO in a while. He'd been a lot of relief pilot duties. So we just took our time. There's no rush. We pushed back from the gate early. We sat in the alley for a little bit as we got everything situated. Um, Taxied out. We did get 17 right because it's a full length runway again. It was under construction for a while, so it was shortened. So they're giving all the heavies 18 left on the west side of the airport. We loved it. Shorter taxi. We got 17 right. We had a taxi over there. Nice climb out. Got to above 10,000 feet. Got my printout. Made the rest breaks. We each had 2 hours and 31 minutes. 1 minute. Went back for my break, and I went to the bunk, and I made a different choice this time because they were both going to the bunk. I said if I make each, and they all wanted the bottom bunk. Both of them wanted the bottom bunk. So if I make the bottom bunk, then I have to make it after my break. That's not fun. So I made the top bunk for me. Then made the bottom bunk twice, meaning 2 bottom layers, and then that way the FO can sleep there first. Take off the bottom layer, throw a blanket on, 2 new pillows. He's good to go. So I slept on the top bunk for the first time ever. Didn't like it. It was a little bit turbulent on my break, so I didn't sleep a whole lot. Maybe an hour of my 2.5 hour break. That is what it is. But yeah, I'm not a fan of the top bunk. I'm going back to the bottom bunk from now on. About an hour and 45 into my break, about an hour 15 into my break, I was done sleeping. So I called up front and said, hey, I'm awake. I'll be in the seat. I'll be up at my time. So I went to the seat, 1A. I had some coffee, kind of relaxed, didn't watch any movies or nothing. Then I went up front for the FO took his break. And I was in the FO seat flying, and it was way before we coasted out. We weren't on the track, anywhere near the track by this point. Um, but yeah, it was a nice coast out. Of course, it was smooth. The rest of the flight, like that was the smoothest crossing I've ever done. Um, we had the seatbelt sign off until we were past Ireland, and then when I was in the captain's seat, I turned the seatbelt sign back on. We get some not bad turbulence, but again enough to spill my coffee. We turned it on. But yeah, it was great, great crossing. Again, both pilots were former Airbus pilots, both Airbus domestic pilots. Doesn't really matter, but yeah, I was Airbus International. Um, but yeah, so when we coming into London, in FO flying, were supposed to be here at 8:05, so not super early, but we didn't have to hold. Didn't hold at Bovington. Bovington. I'm gonna say it right one day. Someone's already correcting me. But we didn't have to hold. Wow, no holding. And so they gave us the heading 165 out of Bovington. Then they turned us left, and we went out about 28-mile full circuit to get in on 27 left. Even though on my little chart said 27 right today, they used 27 left. Here's what it is. Now we did have one that MEL. I should have already mentioned, maybe I didn't, but we had an MEL on the left thrust reverser. Not a big deal for many reasons. One, it's a 12,000 plus foot runway in London. Even wet, with auto brakes 3, we needed 7,000 feet. We had 5,000 feet extra. So, but it was really windy, like really windy. At 3,000 feet AGL, winds were 190 at 45, and pretty gusty and rocking, right? The tower reported the surface winds 190 at 10. So we're going to lose 30 knots coming down. And that 30 knots went away between like 1,000 feet and the surface. It was pretty rocky. Again, FO hadn't flown in a while. And we're coming in, and we're rocking, and we're rocking. And I'm in the middle seat, like, all right, here we go. And I heard 50, 40, 30, 20, like a steady countdown. I'm like, all right, Again, it's windy. It's a crosswind. It's a little wet. Being firm is totally fine and normal. Nah, man, he worked it on and just planted the left wheel, straightened it out, down, and just it was very smooth, very smooth. Um, Exited the runway, and we got two different gate changes. So we were supposed to park at spot 340 initially, and then below 10,000 we got spot 305, shorter taxi, and then on short final we got 340 again. Well, we landed, and we're going to 340, and there was a Cathay Pacific that's just pulling off our gate under tow. So maybe they had issues getting off our gate in time. So we did a little do-si-do to get into the gate, and we got to the gate like 4 minutes late. But still on time according to DOT. We get 14 minutes after arrival time. If you didn't know that. Got to the gate, deplaned quickly where we were not full. Hopped on the bus, and we got here in record time. I didn't mention this. I didn't make a video about this, but I picked up an overtime trip this month to London. It took us 2.5 hours to go from the airport to the hotel because of multiple accidents on the M4. Today was very quick. I did lose my nice sunny day in London streak. It was rainy here today and a little bit cold. I got here, got to the hotel, slept for about 3 hours, and then I went out for lunch. I got some udon noodles. That's my new thing, udon noodles. Chicken katsu. Pretty good. And then I went to Whole Foods and then asked my wife if she wanted some chocolate, and she did. And the people at Leonidas probably think I'm some rich American. I'm not. My wife likes milk chocolate, so I went in there and I bought a really big box of milk chocolate. I think this is a full pound. Oops. I didn't keep the receipt. It's not marked on here, but this is really heavy, and it was very expensive. But I said, "You want milk?" Yeah, this milk. So we have other boxes. I went, "This is fine." I thought this is a box I bought last time. Last time it was a $40 box. This is more, but this is the tax I pay for coming to London. It's the wife tax. I'm happy to buy it. It makes her happy. But about this, I went to Whole Foods, and of course I bought my papaya and my orange juice. But I did buy some. Again, I don't care for milk. Didn't agree me very well, so I bought some oat milk chocolate. See if that works any good. And then my new food to cross the ocean with is hot tamales. I didn't eat very many on the way here, but that is my new ocean crossing food. But it's now 5:23. I'm talking for 8 minutes. I'm going to go for my walk now. Walk about an hour. Just walk around. If it's not too rainy and cold, get my steps in. And it's kind of relaxed for the evening. We have a late departure tomorrow, so I need no alarm clock. I should be home on Monday at 4:30 in the afternoon. And then I'm off for 2 days and on reserve for 3 more days to end the month of reserve. I hope I don't get to use my next 3 days. I just don't want to, but we'll see. Right now, when I get back, I'm scheduled to have 19 hours and 30 minutes of availability for the federal airline regulations for a 100 hours and 30-day period. So I can still do London, unfortunately. But we'll see. But the crossing was nice. It was nice. It was easy crossing today. Sweet. Time for my walk. All right. So I don't actually use hotel gyms. I like walking on overnights. I can see stuff and get my steps in and close my rings on my Apple Watch. So I walked around Kensington Gardens, very scenic. It's late in the evening, sun setting. There's so much walking around here. The paths are wide and wide. There's people biking, but I never feel I'm in the way. We do need to decide as human beings what side of the sidewalk we're going to walk on in foreign countries. Because if I think we should walk on the side they drive on, but most people don't do it. But beautiful sunset, and then I decided to go get some late night snacks, kind of a dinner thing. I use the Too Good To Go app. I've used it just like 3 times ever. This time it was like €5 from a place called Paul. Again, I went for this is a long walk, nowhere near my hotel. But I did 3 miles today. But I went to Paul, got my pickup bag, head back to the hotel to see what I got in my little goodie bag. Spoiler alert, it wasn't that great. All right, back in the hotel room with my Too Good To Go bag, filming on two things because that's what I'm doing. 5 British pounds. I got a pretzel. It's all carbs, right? A pretzel. I got a chocolate eclair. I believe it's an eclair. I got some kind of sandwich, some kind of ham sandwich with cheese and some vegetables on it. And I'm betting another sandwich. So I cannot eat this much food. I was hoping for something not chocolate, but again, 5. So again, 5 British pounds. Pretty good value overall. So cheap dinner and a dessert and a snack for tomorrow. Too good to go. Pretty happy with it. All right, that's all. All right, it's over 12 hours till van time, but I'm exhausted. I can't stay awake. So I'm gonna take a shower and go to bed. 7:45 p.m. local, 1:45 in Dallas. I'm tired. All right, see you guys in the morning. And good morning. It is now the next morning, around 8 in the morning. The party was at noon. I had a good night's rest. I slept really good actually. Way over 8, 9 hours of actual sleep. So feeling good for today. Long flight back. 777-300. Again, relief pilot. No coffee this morning. Just having my protein shake for breakfast. And yeah, planning to go to bed right after takeoff. Should at least be a 3 hour break, maybe 3 hours and 10. We'll have to see. Um, since both pilots are new, but they're both Dallas based previously. Hopefully they do the normal in the seat 30 minutes prior to landing. It'll be the captain's takeoff and landing going back, so we'll see. I'll get back. Well, land at 4:25. Should be home by 5:30, just in time to see my wife for a few minutes before she goes to her Monday night trivia. And I should be able to hand her this pound of chocolate from Leonidas, which I'm sure she's looking forward to, and I get to transport over 6,000 or 5,000 miles. But yeah, I used to the whole London thing. Hopefully, this is my last trip of the month. We'll have to see. I am good for 3 more days, but we'll see. All right, let's go to the airport. And again, before I leave any hotel room, I do a full room scan. I pull back the sheets, I open the drawers, look behind the curtains to make sure I leave nothing behind. It's very, very rare nowadays I leave stuff behind. But once I am totally secure, I grab my stuff, get my wife's chocolate, and head out the door to the awaiting bus downstairs. Many years ago, I used to be a smoker, and I'd always arrive downstairs like 15 minutes early to smoke. Nowadays, I arrive early just because that's just a habit I've always been in. There's an unwritten rule at my airline. The pilots sit in the back of the bus. We all do. I don't know why, but we all hang out in the back like a bunch of rabble rousers. But early morning bus ride to the airport. Again, I've had no coffee because I'm going to be the first person going on break. So I'm just like, I'm here. I'm here. I'm going to make it. We went through security, mild annoyances this week in security by many of us in the crew, and then started walking toward the gate. I want to get in this car and just take it for a spin. Probably go to jail, would I? We had a pretty good walk over to our gate today. Again, 777-300 this time. I was first to arrive, and again, bigger wingspan, no clock on the outboard of the LCDs, and of course we have outside cameras as well and different engines. Went through the logbook to see what was going on with the plane. I did notice that a previous fueler had broken one of our switches on our wing, and that caused a big delay refueling the airplane. We ended up leaving 45 minutes late because it took him longer to fuel the airplane. It wasn't his fault. It is what it was. Man, it was unfortunate. We were all boarded up. We had to wait 45 extra minutes after departure time to head out. London to Dallas. You can see our routing is similar to on the way here, right? We're going nice and high. Again, we are on a NATS track. Again, these are all highways in the sky that are designed for efficiency, to avoid weather, and to keep all the planes nice and separated. We do lots of briefing on the weather before every single flight. We use this app as a briefing tool to discuss what we plan to expect, right? For the flight attendants, for the passengers, for our routing, to make sure we are happy with how it looks. So that was our routing just by itself. Now you can see all the tracks. We're on track Tango back to the US today. Again, all these tracks are all lined up. They're all made every day. They decide which tracks are active and which points and all that fun stuff, right? But we verify all the waypoints. And when I say all the waypoints, we verify every single waypoint from takeoff to landing. And we verify first the routing and then every single fix all the way through. Got to the airport a little bit late because again, it was what it was. We had delay for the fueling. Cleared customs, went outside, left the bus, and headed over to my Chevrolet Equinox EV with my Leonidas chocolate in hand, and headed home. I wasn't exhausted. The crossing was a little bumpy, but nothing. It was bumpy on the way there, but overall, another good crossing. My eighth crossing of the month. And now let's do the post-flight debrief on the way home.
So getting out of London, that was painful. We had a issue where some fueler broke one of the switches that they used to refill the airplane on the left wing. Like I said, the left wing switch for the left wing was broken. So that meant they had to do a whole different procedure to fuel the airplane. It takes a long time to fuel 210,000 pounds of fuel. I'll put the amount of gallons at standard temperature day on the screen. A long time. And normally, so the fueler arrived at the normal time to fill the airplane. Well, because of the situation, that wasn't enough time. It took an extra 45 minutes past departure time for us to be done fueling, right? Long time, long time. Once we pushed back, and then of course, with Heathrow and the gate situation and all the heavies, you have to kind of get a slot to push back. And they're very organized. They're very organized. But it took a while. So we left late. 2-7 left departure. Captain's takeoff. Again, we're all new. He did a great job on takeoff and climb out. Kicked the autopilot on. And then we climbed up, and I'm staring at the printer for the printout for the break, so I can make the break times, right? Then we hit moderate turbulence. And I'm making the break times while we're in moderate turbulence because I'm like, I don't want to go on break. So I made the break times, but then I couldn't go back because we were in moderate turbulence. And so I kind of had to wait and waited. And eventually, the turbulence subsided. I was able to go back and start my break. But let me rewind a little bit. When we were at the airplane, go walking through Heathrow, we got dropped off nowhere near our gate, right? So, I walked to the gate, and me and the flight attendants got on board. A few of them got on board, and I was able to do the interior pre-flight and the exterior pre-flight, and the captain and FO hadn't arrived yet. I'm like, that's weird. Maybe they stopped for breakfast. Whatever. It is what it is. Um, they eventually arrived, and they're like, yeah, they were all walking, and some Virgin flight had a deplane, and customs made everyone stop in the concourse. So they had to wait for them to all, I guess, deplane or whatever. I'm like, wow, that sucks. I went up to the bunk area, and I made the bunks. I like the 300, the loft, the treehouse, and no issues. And I say that because when I went to go on break, I opened the door, went inside, tried to close the door, and we're in flight. And the doorknob came off in my hand. Yeah, the doorknob came off in my hand. I was able to close the door just fine. I'm like, well, it came off and dropped to the ground. I was able to close the door. I'm like, well, that's gonna be a problem. I want to get out, but I want to go on break. I want to sleep. So I slept for about, I got a 3 hour break. I slept for about 2 hours. Woke up, need to use the restroom, and I walked down the stairs because I show you, I walked down the steep stairs, and I could not reach the doorknob. It was such a steep incline. So I go back upstairs to call the flight attendant. Like, hey, this is Darren. I'm in the pilot crew rest area. Can you open my door? My doorknob broke off. And again, we thought something dropped. We heard something drop when you went in there. So they opened the door for me, used the restroom, and I came back, and there was no way I could reattach the doorknob at all. Period. But I could use if I put the doorknob on the spindle, I could turn and get out. So my solution was put the doorknob in the little cubby hole, and then if I needed when I wanted to get out, I could put the doorknob on a spindle, turn it, get out just fine. Got to write it up. So I went back up for the rest of my break, came back down, opened the doorknob just fine, and then I had to tell the captain for his break, hey, listen, here's what's going on, man. Uh, you got to use this little doorknob then to get in and out. And he was fine with it. And before anyone freaks out, we do have an emergency exit up there that, in case of emergency, we come out through the ceiling. Basically, it is a approved FAA procedure to get out of that room. So then I was up front, getting the captain took off. So I was in the captain's seat first. I went up. We were past 30 West at this point, and I was up front the rest of the time. So me and the FO talked a lot. We talked about all kind of reassignment stories, and we talked about this random work stuff, which made time go by quickly. I did have my meal. It was beef. I wasn't very hungry. I ate a little bit of it. Then the captain came back up. FO went back, and then I sat in the FO seat. I was pilot monitoring at that point. We were over Canada, up front, smooth ride, seatbelt sign off. And me and the captain talked about random stuff for a bit and some contract stuff for a bit. Got the 2 write-ups from the flight attendant. Not too bad, just 2 for the whole cabin. Anyway, 2 write-ups, 2 small write-ups. And FO came back up, and that was it. Captain, and there's one thing though. On our return flight, the dispatcher sent up a message saying, "Hey, I see you're running late. If you want to save some time, once you're talking to U.S. controllers, ask for from Sierra Sierra Mike, ask for direct RNet for the receiver for arrival, which would put it's a shortcut, but we'd be landing on the east side of the airport and have a taxi from the east side all the way to the west side. As is the arrival that we were on would put us on the west side of the airport where we park. So we figured we'd rather stay on our current arrival because even if we save, call it 10 minutes, and land on the east side of the airport early, we will eat up that 10 minutes or more taxiing from the east side to the west side. So we stayed on the west side, and we got 1-8 right. They wanted to give us 1-3 right, but we're landing at 500,000 pounds, like near max landing weight. We wanted the longer runway for operational reasons. They gave us 1-8 right. Landed, got into the gate, and done. So another crossing. That is my 8th time crossing the Atlantic Ocean this month. 4 trips. Woof. I think I have 19 hours left and change to hit the 100-hour in 30 days. So I doubt they can use me for very much. But I feel good. I'm not exhausted. Like I'm not in the cloud like I normally would be after a crossing. So my rest is working for me. My rest prep I'm doing is working for me. But yeah, I'm going to send it back to Darren for the wrap up of the video because the sun's getting my eyes. All right.
Okay, so wrapping it all up, it was a good trip overall, and I have flown a lot on reserve this month, and it's very different than I did in September. Um, I think it's just bad luck on my part being the junior guy on the day the trips are assigned. Because again, reserve in my airline changed recently, where in the past, the more you flew, the less you were used to even it all out. Now it doesn't matter anymore. It matters how many days you work, regardless of how much you fly and how senior you are. So it is what it is. As far as if the trip were a line holder trip, I would have earned 57.13.55. But again, I'm on reserve. And so this entire value of the trip was absorbed into my reserve guarantee. I have now flown 62 hours this month toward my reserve guarantee. Again, it's a weird thing about how my hours are calculated versus paid and then even logged. Keeping it super simple, a 9-hour flight, 3 pilot crew, I'm paid 9 hours. I log in my logbook 6 hours. Because again, I'm on break for part of that trip. So it's much more complicated than it is on the narrow body. Again, in addition to my hourly pay, you can see my per diem and my international pay as well. That said, small little soapbox thing here. I get comments every now and then about me making videos about my career. I'm not doing this for the compensation. I'm not doing this for the fame. I do it so people can understand what it is to be an airline pilot. I don't film on the flight deck with other people around, period. I don't film in flight, period. I'm not allowed to for multiple reasons. I film in my car driving to the airport, but you know what? So do lots of car reviewers do, right? I have a camera mounted in my car. Most of the time, I'm looking forward. I'm not looking at the camera. If you have a problem with my footage, it's easier to just scroll away. Again, I don't do this for fame or fortune. I do it to help others learn about my career. And there's only a small fraction of the people out there that just want to see the world burn. And for that, I say bless your heart in the most southern way possible. Everyone else, thank you for your support. Here are my socials. Have a great day, and as always, thank you for stopping by.